My dear students, today we are going to discuss 7th class History Chapter 1, the Medieval World. This video will be beneficial for those students especially who don't have still books, who are still unable to collect books, because the very page of your present book is shown on the screen. And by listening and watching this video you can have an idea, but one thing I beg your pardon that the whole explanation will be in English instead of Hindi. When our school will open, then further we can discuss with little bit Hindi explanation also. So this chapter is the medieval world. I think from the same book in your 6th class you have read, throughout the whole 6th class you have read about ancient period, ancient world. Now we are going to discuss on medieval world. There is a timeline you can see on the top of this page. Medieval period in Europe, medieval period of Indian history. As we are Indians, so being Indians, along with the world history, we have to always compare our Indian history. Medieval period in Europe is from 600 century with the birth of Islam in Arabia up to 1500 century, towards the end of the Mughal Empire, towards the beginning of Mughal Empire established in India. Not end, beginning. Mughal Empire established in India, roughly up to that period. That means from the birth of Islam in Arabia up to towards the establishment of Mughal Empire in India. That is in 1526, Babur established. Then the medieval period in the India starts from near about between 600 and 700 CE with the death of Harshavardhana, and it ends with the advent of the British people. That means ending of the Mughal rule and starting of the British. So British Empire ended the medieval period and started modern period in Indian history. However, let's look at the text and little bit explanation. History is divided into three main periods: the ancient and the medieval and the modern. This division makes it easier for us to understand historical events and the changes these events have brought into the lives of people. Last year we learned about the ancient period. This year we will explore history of the medieval period. In your 6th class we have learned about ancient period. Now we are going to learn about medieval period. The word medieval is made up of two Latin words, medius meaning middle and evum meaning age. So the word medieval consists of two words originated from Latin language. Medius means middle and evum means age. So middle age, medieval means middle age. Therefore medieval history deals with the period that lies between the ancient and modern periods of human history. In simple terms, medieval period means middle age, Madhya Yuga, that is in between the ancient and modern. Medieval period, however, is not identified with same dates everywhere. In Indian history, it is the period between 8th and 18th centuries, while in Europe, it stretches from 600 to 1500 CE. That is the thing I discussed here. In this time period, you can easily understand that medieval period can be different in different areas. In India, it is different, and in the world or Europe, it is different. There is a picture and the subtitle is a page from Baburnama showing Babur's court. Such richly illustrated books were a common feature of medieval period. However, go to next page. Another picture. The Visigoths, Hun and Vandals were some of the tribal groups from Eastern Europe and Central Asia that attacked and destroyed the Roman Empire. Have a look at the text. In these years, a number of social, religious, and political forces arose that had a powerful impact on world history and history of India. Let us see what these forces were. So, in these years, a number of social, religious, and political forces arose. A number of social related to society, religious means related to religion, and political related to politics. So many factors were there that had a powerful impact on world history as well as in the Indian history. And let us discuss in detail. Medieval Europe, the Church, and Renaissance. By 476 CE century, the last of the Roman emperors had been deposed and a powerful Roman empire had collapsed. The breakup of the Roman Empire was followed by the rise of feudalism, a system where serfs or slaves provided labor and military service to a lord in return for the use of his land. This system caused immense suffering among the poor. We'll learn more about it in the next chapter. So by 476, the last of the Roman emperors had been deposed and the powerful Roman Empire had collapsed. So in the year 476, Roman Empire was destroyed or collapsed, came to end. And with the destruction of Roman Empire, there was the introduction of feudalism. And feudalism is a system we will discuss in detail in the next chapter. The early medieval period in Europe, 6th to 10th century, was an age of faith, since the Christian church had great influence and control over the people. This period was also known as the Dark Ages, as any form of scientific inquiry was discouraged by the church. So notice carefully, early medieval period in Europe, that was from 6th to 10th centuries, for these 400 years. This was an age of faith. Age of faith means people believed blindly in religion. Since the Christian church had great influence and control over the people, people were blind followers of religion. They blindly followed the religion. They were ardent devotees of God. And this period was also known as the Dark Ages. Why Dark Ages? Because medieval age towards the beginning, medieval age was also called Dark Age. Why? Because any type of scientific inquiry was discouraged by the church. There was no scope for the scientists. Whatever the scientists tried to prove, everything was discouraged. Everything was refused, rejected by the church, because the power and authority of church was so strong at that time, and people believed church and church services, religion, blindly. So there was no scope, no place, no room for the scientists to prove anything as false. That's why it was called also Dark Age. This was also the time of the Crusades, the war between the Christians and the Muslims for control over the holy city of Jerusalem, beginning in 1095 century. These wars went on for about 200 years. So crusade, religious war, crusade, very famous term. There is a war between the Christians and Muslims for control over the holy city of Jerusalem. Both of them demanded that same city, Jerusalem, as their own holy place, Jerusalem. Beginning in 1095 century, these wars went on for about 200 years, and this was popularly known in history, in the world history rather, as crusades, because both the Muslims and Christian people, they demanded the same spot, the same city as their own. All these factors resulted. There is a painting of crusade also, painting religious war. Crusade means in simple term a religious war, any war that's related to religion, war between the religious people, war between two religious sects, two religious communities. All these factors resulted towards the end of the medieval period in the birth of a powerful movement called the Renaissance. So these are the factors, or with these factors, our medieval period in the world history ended, and with the end of medievalism, there was the introduction of another powerful movement wave called Renaissance. The Renaissance brought in a new spirit of adventure and learning in Europe, the effects of which were soon felt all around the world. Renaissance means rebirth, as you know. And with the introduction of Renaissance, there were enough rooms and opportunities, scopes for the scientists to prove themselves. So with the introduction of Renaissance, Dark Age disappeared. The Renaissance brought in a new spirit of adventure and learning in Europe, and the effects of which were soon felt all around the world. And this is a movement, this is a wave that was not only felt in Europe. The Renaissance influenced the whole world gradually, even our India also later time. Voyages of discovery took European explorers across the seas. They found lands about which they had no knowledge, like the Americans in Australia. Europe soon. Okay, let's move to the next page. Voyages of discovery took European explorers across the seas. Actually, behind the present day maps, it is the contribution of the European explorers, voyagers, sea voyagers, travelers. They discovered almost the whole world. When in our geography book also you will learn about the different continents like Australia, America, Africa. Always we will find that certain European sailors discovered those continents at first. So it is the contribution of the Europeans because they are courageous. It is their contribution to discover almost the whole world because they had that kind of spirit. They discovered America, Australia, America, both the North and South America, Australia, even Africa also, even Antarctica also. In all these continents, the Europeans set their foot at first. Later time the other people went. Next, learned of the wealth of the East and trade became an important activity. So by these explorations, these European travelers, sea voyagers, wanderers, they came to know about the rich wealth of East, especially of our India. They came to know that India is a country full of replete with gold and other gold, diamond and other gems. That's why they started their business. Trade became an important activity. Arabs and Islam. In the 7th century CE, a new religion, Islam, was born in Arabia. After the birth of Christianity, next in 7th century CE, a new religion, Islam, was born in Arabia. So Arab is the origin of Islam, which transformed the medieval world. Under the banner of Islam, warring Arab tribes were united into one powerful force which went on to establish vast empires across the world. So under this name, Islam, warring Arab tribes, tribal people, they were united into one powerful force. They are called Muslims. which went on to establish vast empires across the world. From Arabia, the Arabs carried Islam to Central Asia. From here, it eventually reached India. Islam reached countries of the West like Spain and France through North Africa. That's why there was the competition between the Christians and the Islam or the Muslims. So they were united, and they also started to spread their religion throughout the world. Even it reached in a certain period of time to our India also, the Mongols. In the 13th century, see, a warlike tribe from Central Asia, the Mongols swept across Asia towards Europe under their dynamic leader, Genghis Khan. We pronounce it Genghis, but its spelling is little bit different. Either it appears like Genghis Khan, but it's Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was a dangerous ruler, we can say. Greatest military leader in the past, we can say. Genghis Khan created the largest contiguous connected without a break contiguous land empire in world history. So Genghis Khan created the largest contiguous land empire in world history. Contiguous means connected without a break. That means where there is no stop, unstoppable, without any gap. By 1400 CE, the Mongol Empire stretched from the river Danube in the west to the coast of China in the east. So from China to almost Europe. Descendants of the Mongols also established the powerful Mughal dynasty in India in the 16th century. That's why you can find a similarity between these two terms, Mongol and Mughal. Mongol and Mughal. Babur was the descendant of this Mongol emperor Genghis Khan, grandson. Rather interestingly, he was not only the grandson of Genghis Khan, he was also the grandson due to his father and mother. He was also the grandson of another notorious military leader. And you know, his name was Taimur-Lang. However, by bringing it under a common rule, the Mongols enabled widespread contacts between Asia and Europe. The Mongols also brought to the conquered lands their art of warfare and knowledge of gunpowder. So in different parts of the world, we can find different communities were formed. They were united, whether that is religious community or a military. Genghis Khan was specially a kind of military leader. His function was, he was an emperor. His function was to spread his empire, and his empire was contiguous, unstoppable, without any break, unbreakable. Whereas the Islam community was mainly a religious community. They also tried to spread their religion throughout the world, and in Europe there was Christianity also. So this was the situation of medieval period. The medieval period in India, this was the history of outside India in medieval period. Now let's know about medieval period in India. What was the situation at that time in India? The ancient period in Indian history is said to have ended with the death of Harshavardhana, the great king, Harshavardhana. With the death of that king, it is considered that there was the beginning of medieval period in India and ending of ancient period. Harshavardhana or Harsha was one of the last Indian kings to be able to establish an empire that stretched from the river Indus to the river Narmada. Narmada is situated in South India, and Indus, that is called in other words Sindhu, not the Sindhu. You are very familiar with this, because this region itself, Punjab itself, comes under that area. Indus River and its tributaries. However, so in ancient time, Harshavardhana was the king who also had a vast empire like this. After his death, several smaller kingdoms emerged. The rulers of these kingdoms are often engaged in battles with each other. They were therefore caught unawares by the Muslim conquerors who attacked India from the northwest. The victory of these conquerors changed the course of India's history. So, after the death of Harshavardhana, the unity was lost. Things fall apart. The center could not hold its power. There was no central power. That's why inside India, inside that Indian emperor that was created by Harshavardhana, there were several rulers. They started to fight against each other. That's why unity was lost, and that was the opportunity or scope for the outside enemies, outsiders like the Muslim conquerors, to attack India from the northwest side. In India, always attack came from northwest side, northwest. In present day India also, attack is coming from northwest, from the Pakistan. And the victory of these conquerors changed the course of Indian history. The series of Turkic, Afghan, Persian, and Mongol dynasties that ruled India from the 11th to the 18th centuries formed the medieval period in India. Notice one thing: Turkic, Afghan, Persian, Mongol, all of them were Islamic rulers, and they brought attack on India from 11th to 18th century successively, continuously, and this formed the medieval period in India. The later medieval period also saw the rise of the Marathas and the Sikhs. Sikh is another religious community, and Maratha, they were Hindus in present day Maharashtra, under the leadership of that great King Shivaji. The coming of British to India. The disintegration of the Mughal Empire in 18th century CE and establishment of the British Empire signaled the end of the medieval period in India. So, through these Islamic rulers, Turkic, Afghan, Persian, and Mongol, these Mongol established Mughal Empire in our India. They also ruled our India for a long period of time. And then what happened? After that, towards the ending of medieval period, there was the rise of Marathas and Sikh power. Then there was the advent or coming of the British people. In this way, there was the ending of with the death of the Mughal rulers, ending of the Mughal rule. There was the introduction of British and disintegration of Mughal Empire in 18th century and the establishment of British Empire. That signaled the end of medieval period and introduction of modern period. That's enough for today, and that is the 1.5 page of our history book, Inspired History. We'll stop here. Thank everyone, and we will continue in our next lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.